Time for our love expert, Kellie Raspberry, to help you out with any issue going on in your life. How do you write our love expert, part-time Justin?
Huh?
You go to loveletterstokellie.com. That's where you go.
You do.
Yes.
I was just proofreading my letter, making sure.
Okay.
Huh?
Whoa! Caught.
Huh? It happened.
Hey,
Hello?
it's all good, buddy. We do this on Mondays and Wednesdays, so if we don't read your letter today, it's all good. And there's
Love
also,
letters to Kellie.
and there's also a podcast.
.com.
There's also a podcast you can listen to.
Right
And there's a
'em.
lot of episodes that you can catch
Kellie,
up on.
do you have a love expert?
Who do you go to for advice when you're the expert?
Because I feel like, yeah.
Tommy Jean?
I don't necessarily ask for advice. Sometimes I just vent. You know,
Kellie's a venter.
sometimes women don't want your advice. They just want you to listen.
Yeah.
That's where I
Honey.
mess up.
Huh?
Yeah.
Us guys are fixers.
That's it.
Yeah, we
See,
want to
and men
fix
want
things.
to fix
We want to
things.
fix
And
True. That's
when we're supposed to be listening.
And that's a dangerous thing
Mm-hmm.
because when a woman's in the middle of ranting and her husband offers a suggestion, it could go really ugly really fast.
Really
she
fast.
She wasn't asking for your advice.
It sure seems like it, though.
No.
All right.
Why are we
Venting.
talking about it then? If you don't want my advice,
Because they want to vent.
Venting.
Yeah.
They want someone to
Sometimes we
listen.
just want to vent. All right, let's get into it. I got to turn this on first. Let's get into it.
love letters to Kellie.
Dear Kellie, you are the love expert.
I am.
I am currently with my child's father for 4 years now, and we have run into 2 incidents that I can't fully get over. When our kid was 7 months old, I saw a message pop up on his dashboard on his truck where the message read, "How are you, love?" He was pumping gas when that text came through, so I decided to click on that message thread, and I found out he was having a full-on relationship with this girl, Kellie. However, when the girl kept asking him to come over to see her, he came up with different excuses every time, so that's good. When I confronted him on it, the first thing out of his mouth was, "Why are you going through my messages?"
Yeah.
Then once I put my foot down and said, I'm not putting our child or myself through this with you, and we're going to move out, or you can move out on your own, he cried like a little boy and begged for us not to leave him. He said it meant nothing and that he doesn't know why he did it, and after a week of not speaking to him, he begged and pleaded, and I took him back. Fast forward, and our child is one, and I decided to check his phone while he was in the shower. Again, Kellie, I found flirty messages between him and a handful of other girls. Then I got a lawyer involved and served him with custody papers. Again, he begged and pleaded, and then signed himself up for therapy to figure out why he does this. After 2 months into this therapy, I decided to give him one more chance, Kellie. Part of me wants to look through his phone again to check, but then the other half is saying to leave him if I feel the need to check his phone all the time. Our child is 3 years old now, and I have no idea what the best decision for us as a family is. Can you help, Tori?
Well, I think 2 months wasn't enough time to see that he was truly a changed man. But did the therapy stop once you took him back? Because a lot of times men and women, they will,
Use it as a
whatever you
Band-Aid?
need me to do until, okay, I've got her back now, I'll stop. You know, they'll put a Band-Aid
Right,
on it
right.
without ever fixing the problem. So, I mean, now you have to work on your own trust issues because you've been burned twice. And now you're probably scared to check again because what if you find it again? Then what are you going to do? Or you just keep taking him back, and I understand that. I mean, people mock Khloe Kardashian because it looks like she and Tristan are back together. I mean, all indications are that they are back together, and she has to face, that ridicule and stuff.
Yeah.
But I understand because it's not so much about Tristan, or it's not so much about your guy as it is about the dream of having an intact family and raising your kids together. And I think a lot of times we're more in love with the dream than we are with the person. So hopefully, what is she asking? Should she just leave if she's questioning?
She feels the need to check his phone, but then she
Well-
thinks, I shouldn't check it. I should just leave if I feel that need that I need to do it.
A lot of times, a lot of people, there's no, that I wouldn't say leave based on a feeling for every situation, because a lot of times there's an insecure partner that even if they're dating the most trustworthy person in the world, they still feel like they need to check their phone. There's insecurities there. So I think y'all both need to be in therapy, couples and individually, because, I mean, rightfully so, you don't trust him, but that's not a healthy place to be in where 10 years from now you're still thinking you need to look through your man's phone.
Yeah.
So
You don't constantly
I don't
wanna
think
be
2 months
thinking
is
that.
enough time for somebody to prove they've changed either. You kind of jump back in. But again, I get it because you got a young baby together and it's hard. It's hard, and It's sometimes getting divorced and breaking up is difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Very difficult.
Anyway.
Love letters. Love letters to Kellie. I sent Ashley a text message just moments ago telling her we're about to read her letter. And unfortunately, she is working and not able to hear. But
She can listen later.
Yeah, she can always listen back on the K-pop.
There you go.
Or tell her to pop in one of those earbuds and stream us.
There you
That's
go.
always fun,
There
too.
you go. Dear Kellie, you are the love expert.
I am.
My man and I have been together for 9 years, and he's constantly calling me insecure and putting me down daily. This has been going on for 2.5 years. It's to the point. Our 6-year-old son says, Mama, Daddy won't marry you because you're fat, and it hurts. That was the quote, and she said, it hurts.
Whoa, bro.
Yeah. He never goes out in public with me. We don't talk unless it's about the kids. He doesn't help with our kids at all. I have to ask him to get things for our kids, and when I do, he gets mad about it. Kellie, what do I do? Ashley.
Oh, Ashley, I just want to give you a hug.
Well, Ashley, I mean, everybody can see this probably isn't the best relationship for you to be in.
She's already doing it on her own, basically, right?
Basically, I mean, it's hard, and like I said before, divorces and breakups are really hard. It's inconvenient. It's financially difficult.
It's change.
So it's change.
But sometimes change is necessary.
It's very necessary when you're being emotionally or mentally
That's
abused.
abuse,
And,
yeah.
the
That
thing
is
about,
abuse.
when people do, people are overweight, and some people it's like it's not an issue, but for others it's an emotional thing, and the more you get upset about it, the more you eat, and the bigger you get, and it's just like this vicious cycle, and it's hard.
There's something about himself that he doesn't like. I know it's hard to wrap your brain around. We say that a lot of times. He doesn't like something about him, but he's lashing out on you.
And he's poisoning your son at the same
Well,
time.
yeah,
with
especially
that.
if they are hearing that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's really serious. So you've got to think, and your son, like it or not, he's probably going to end up modeling the behavior that he sees in the home. So it's time for you to, do something. You got to make a move.
Yep.
You've either got to stand up for yourself and say, we need to work on this relationship because this is not working, or it's time for you to move on. And if this has been going on for 2.5 years,
Seems like you picked a bad apple, and it's
you've
okay
been, and you've been putting.
leave.
Well, she didn't say. She said this just happened over the past 2.5 years, right?
Well,
She did.
But she didn't
yes.
say it was bad before that, did she?
Well, right, but to your point, it's been going on for 2.5
But it's been going
years.
on for 2.5
that's
years,
a-
but she's also been tolerating it for 2.5 years.
Correct.
So unless you're just willing to walk out the door, I mean, it sounds like she doesn't want to do that,
Right.
or else she wouldn't be writing me. So say we need to do something. This is not helping what you're doing. You're poisoning our son. You're modeling we're modeling a bad relationship for our children. We need to figure this out. And if he's not willing to do the work, then you've got to make some tough decisions and go out there and find a man who will model what it is like to be in a healthy
Or
relationship
just
with
be
you.
by yourself if you have to. I mean,
Right.
it's better than
You got this, Ashley.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough.
love letters. Love letters to Kellie.
Dear Kellie, you are the love expert.
I am.
I'm a 25-year-old female, and I'm a new listener to the Kid Credit Morning Show
Welcome.
and the Love Letters podcast. I love hearing your interesting advice. I've always been a career-oriented gal. I was raised to not really date boys in high school because you won't have time for them in college. Don't be serious with guys in college because then it'll make it harder when you move away for your career, and so on. So I've been single for over 3 years, and I've only had relationships last maybe 5 or 6 months, and lots of flings. I'm an only child, and I'm extremely independent, so that makes me a little too comfortable with being on my own. So I'm looking for your advice on 2 things. 1, how can I mentally break this cycle of, I'll just put relationships off until I reach XYZ goal? I honestly don't know why I do that. And B, what qualities should I even be looking for in a partner when I'm 25 years old? As I mentioned, I've been in very short-term flings and relationships, so I feel like I mainly look for a male friendship first, but then with the perk of doing laundry. I also live in a very rural area, so dating apps and organically meeting people is difficult. Thank you, and that's from Jess.
Well, Jess, at 25, your 20s are about, finding what you do and don't like in a partner and weeding out, for me, dating was more about crossing off the nose till you get to the yes, right?
So
And
she's
there's a
dating
lot
the
of
right way if
no's.
they're like short 5 months.
Right, but you're also 25. This is the time for you to take risks. Why are you staying in a small rural community? Why don't you branch out and go to a bigger city and give? I mean, I'm just asking if that's an option for you, because you're only going to date your options.
Yeah.
And you're going to blow through all the friends with benefits in your hometown. You might as well go find something in a bigger city, right?
More city, more options.
Yeah.
You
Maybe
know-
she landed a really good job though out there because she said she
mean-
was a career-oriented person.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm just saying, in your 20s when you don't have a serious relationship or a mortgage or anything like that, this is the time
It's
to
the
take
time.
risks
Yeah.
with
Go
your
time.
career
Yeah.
and to go for it. That's what I would suggest you do if
Me
you're
too.
asking me for my advice.
too.
Because I was 27 when I packed up and left for a small town and went to the big city. I mean, this is the time to do it. As far as what to look for in a man, what I would tell everybody, look for somebody that respects you, encourages you, brings out the best in you. If you find yourself anxious, worried, and scared, everything you do is going to make him mad, he's obviously the wrong one. But, I mean, the qualities in a man are just a supportive partner who loves you for who you are and doesn't, that's all I can say about that. But my advice is to move to a bigger pond.
Yeah. Go out there and take those big swings.
Yeah.
And get it going.
Love letters to Kellie. Dear Kellie, you are the love expert.
I am.
Let's cut to the chase. My mother-in-law is the worst, and her daughter too.
Oh!
I play nice and do anything to keep the family ties strong. I grew up in such a tight-knit family, but I am finally done. I just need to figure out how to cut her and my sister-in-law out completely. My husband is on board and is just as disappointed in her as I am, if not more. We are first-time parents to a baby boy, the first grandson. He turns 1 in April. In the first year of his life, she has seen him 7 times, with 3 of those being holidays. She never calls in and checks on him, never asks about him, never even calls her own son. I no longer want them to have access to my family or harm my energy anymore. They only care about themselves unless they need something from us. They're obsessed with social media, so I know they'll blast me on there once I cut them out. I just don't know what to do exactly. My therapist tells me to slowly let them out of my life, but I feel like we're at a point where I just need it done and over with. I want them to know that what they've done is wrong and harmful. I want them to know that they can't treat us like this anymore and not get called out on it. Yet everyone around me says to essentially ghost them. This isn't the first time they've wronged me, but now my son is in this. What do I do?
Well, everybody's telling you to ease out and ghost them, but you don't want to hear that. You want me to give you permission to blast their heads off. That's what you're looking for.
'Cause she says that's what they're gonna do to
You
her.
want one grand big gesture like that's going to make it better.
Come on, Kellie, give it to her. Give her your
No.
Can you record it and send it to us if you do it?
No. You want to do this big last. Let me tell you, the only person that's being eaten alive by this anger and rage is you.
Yeah.
Your mother-in-law and sister-in-law over there just living their lives. They do what they want to do, and they don't want to show up to a lot of things. Your mother-in-law doesn't want to. She's just doing it, and she's not sitting over there seething in rage. You're making yourself sick over this, and you're building up all this anger and what should be and what could be, and it just isn't.
And can you completely cut out a grandmother?
You know what I would do? Everybody's giving you advice. You don't want to hear it. You're not listening. Your therapist is telling you. Your best friends are telling you. And I'm going to tell you. But that's not going to change anything because you just got too much anger invested here. When I got divorced, I was so angry with my ex-husband. And he would come over, be bopping over to see Emma Kellie and just be like, everything was fine. And I'd be so mad and so filled with poison. My stomach would churn. Mm-hmm. And one day I just realized me being angry at him isn't hurting him one bit.
Yeah, true.
He's living his life and I'm home mad. And that's what you got to just finally come to the realization that all this hatred and anger you're building up ain't hurting them at all. It's just hurting you. Send them an invitation to the birthday party. If they don't show up, fine. Now, this is easier said than done. It's going to be a lot of through gritted teeth you're going to do this. But after a while, it does get better. Yeah. And I'm not going to say overnight that I suddenly was done with my anger for my ex. It took a minute, but I started speaking to him with kindness. I started inviting him to things and smiling through it. And eventually, everything's fine, but it takes time. Mm-hmm. But everybody's telling you what to do and you don't want to hear it. So go ahead, guns blazing, blast their heads off, say, we're never going to speak to you again and you can't see your grandchild since you don't want to see him anyway and we hate you.
Should you say nanner,
That's
nanner,
going to
nanner?
make things so much better.
Oh, you say nanner? I say neener, neener.
I say nanner.
Oh,
nanner,
wow.
nanner, nanner.
My
Neener,
advice is
neener.
just be polite. Invite him to the things. Don't expect anything. and live your life because they ain't worried about you. Why are you worrying
Probably
so much
not.
about them?
That is great advice right there.
There you go.